Well, good evening. Hope you're having a good Saturday, a good weekend. Here we go. A 10 weather impact alert for overnight into our Sunday morning. We've got the risk for high winds and heavy rain. Down trees, possible power outages due to the high winds moving in the saturated soils, and more heavy rain between about 2 to 6 a.m. So that's why we have Sunday split with the Sunday morning being in red. Again, we do have that chance for impactful weather. Again, down trees, power outages, heavy rain could lead to flooding. That's one of the main concerns. Is the flooding, is the ground is saturated, and especially across northern areas where the risk of flooding is higher. So keep that in mind. Avoid flooded roadways and floodwaters. Even after the rain ends early in the morning, it's going to be turning breezy and much colder during the day. Sunday, by the way, snow showers on the Plateau Mountains, flurries elsewhere. But even after the rain ends early in the morning, floodwaters will remain. So heavy rain, some embedded storms, again, on top of the saturated soils, we could see that risk for flooding through Sunday morning. Avoid floodwaters and be safe. All right, so here's a look at the rest of the 3-day period. Monday and Tuesday, we're drying out. Monday's chilly, low 40s, and highs Tuesday back in the upper 40s, overnight lows in the 20s the next several nights, and again, falling temperatures tomorrow. So here's our weather impact alert for overnight, after midnight, and through Sunday morning. It's basically from midnight and then before the sun comes up Sunday morning, 2 to 6 a.m. specifically. Heavy rain, high winds, flooding possible. Again, some of those down trees and power outages with floodwaters certainly possible. So stay weather alert and avoid flooded roadways tonight. That localized flooding will be possible. Never drive through floodwaters. A reminder there. So let's talk about the winds. We have a wind advisory for all of the valley. Winds from midnight tonight through noon Sunday, and even after the rain ends, it's still going to be windy tomorrow. We could be seeing winds gusting to 45 miles per hour. Now, with the saturated soils, even the strong winds in general, not really talking about any particular storm. We could see some storms, but we're talking about just winds in general could down some weakened trees with those shallow-rooted trees as well with the saturated soil. So gusty winds everywhere tonight through noon tomorrow, and a high wind morning for the mountains. Winds could gust up to 70 miles per hour, even higher the higher up you go. Again, that's in place through noon Sunday. Matter of fact, the wind advisories in place through noon Sunday, a flood watch in place through noon Sunday. And here's a look at these potential winds. I mean, 30, 40, maybe 50 mile per hour gusts showing up between about that 2 to 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. But even after the rain ends, look at these winds. This is 8 a.m. Sunday, still looking at 30, 40, maybe nearly 50 mile per hour gust. And the rest of our Sunday is going to be breezy and bundle up a whole lot colder. We're going to go from the upper 40s in the morning into the 30s for temperatures late in the day. So Sunday we'll see falling temperatures, gusty winds, blustery conditions, and again, bundle up. Now, the flood watch, as I mentioned, also through noon. Heaviest rainfall still expected to be across Kentucky, but that's where the heaviest rains have been, and we could still see an additional 1 to 1.5 inches of rain, maybe 2 inches northern areas on top of saturated soils. That could easily lead to flooding. The greatest flooding potential in red, significant across Kentucky, and can't stress this enough. If you live in a flood-prone area and you've already seen some flooding, you need to keep an eye on those floodwaters. Be prepared to move to higher ground. If you do live in a flood-prone area, number one, as far as that goes, an elevated flood risk for the rest of East Tennessee. And so a humble reminder also, never drive through flooded roadways. Avoid floodwaters. Now, as far as the severe risk, I mentioned we could see some storms. Isolated severe storms possible on the plateau. Not really expecting an overall threat of severe weather other areas. That main severe threat expected to be further to our east. So the main impacts will be those high winds and heavy rain, down trees, flooding possible. Here's our timeline. 2 to 3 a.m., this line of storms tonight after midnight moves on to the plateau. From 3 to 4 a.m., it comes off the plateau in the valley. See that focus line? That's going to contain some potentially damaging wind gusts, just general high winds transfer down the surface. Very heavy rainfall can lead to flooding. That's 3, 4 a.m. This is 5 a.m. So again, from basically 2 to 3 a.m. on the plateau, then that 3, 4, 5 a.m. moving into the valley, and again, still very focused high winds and heavy rain. Then finally, that moves on out after about 7 a.m. But then the colder side of the system, we could see mixed precipitation, change to light snow, a light dustiness possible up on the plateau, and we're going to see that chance to see those temperatures, really dropping behind it, and a chance for some light snowfall continuing in the mountains. Could see several inches. We'll dry out as we get into our Monday. The next system to talk about comes our way Wednesday, and it's going to be colder. Yep, changing seasons. wintry weather is expected Wednesday night, and Thursday morning. We'll keep you updated on potential amounts going forward. So here's your recap. Upper 40s tonight, but it's going to be windy and warm through much of our evening. Then the rain and storms move in after midnight between 2 and 6 a.m. Again, the high winds, heavy rain threat. Watch out for flooding. Avoid floodwaters. Showers in the morning, then ending, but breezing colder with flurries. Dropping temperatures, cold and dry for much of the upcoming week, with wintry weather likely from Wednesday night to Thursday morning, then staying cold, slowly warming again, but still chilly by next Saturday.